2024 has seriously been a hell of a year. In this massive inflation, you know the Vietnamese money has went down like 8% in this last like 7 years. It's crazy what's going on around this world. And not only is our money going down, things like AI are taking our jobs away. It's a double negative at this point. And if you're anything like me, you've sat around, you've been trying to find new ideas, do new things, thing after thing, failure after failure, until something actually clicked. So what I want to do today is I want to help you not be that other guy that goes back to teaching or going back to your McDonald's job, whatever job you had before, and help you find something that will work for you. And the reason this is coming up is I've been talking to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks, and it always comes to the same thing. I want to make money. I want to get rich. I want to get out of this dead-end job. It's always some negative that will lead them to a positive. And I've always given the same simple ass advice that's pretty quick. Hopefully you can take this information, take this advice as you could say, and find what works for you and start doing something and not return back to that job or go back to where you don't want to be. So today I want to talk about an idea that I haven't really coined the name to it, but I just call it chaos versus order. And this is ideally how I took working all these side things, opening different schools, being a teacher, doing online business, doing e-com, doing copywriting, doing all this stuff, and being able to narrow it down to just a couple things to the point where I could actually focus. And instead of stretching myself out thin, I was able to just be free. Now I have to warn you, there's not always an easy path to this, but this will at least get you on the road and show you the direction you need to go. So this idea is finding a bunch of things that actually work. Like I said, I used to do e-coms, I've done copywriting, I've done drop shipping, I've done crypto, I've done stocks, I've done a lot of things in my life. And some things work, some things didn't, some things I still do. And you get these ideas, and then you get home, you sit down, you grab your pen, you grab your pad, you start working, and then you realize something very important. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. And this is something that I used to run into all the time. Man, I had some of the brightest minds in front of me when it came to like crazy stuff like crypto and real estate. And I didn't know how to start right away, and I got stuck. And the only reason that happened, or didn't happen rather, was I didn't really know where to go, how to start and get things going. And as I talked to people that were in it, it was hard to get confident information. But lucky for you guys, right now, you have one tool that'll give you everything you need in two simple letters: AI. And this doesn't matter if you're using ChatGPT, if you're using Gemini, or if you're just using Pi.ai. Any of them will do the same job. And it doesn't only give you ideas, it tells you what you can do in your situation. It tells you how you can do what you need to do, the steps required, what's required, where you should be going, what you should be considering before you jump into these ideas. I mean, really, AI does everything but the process itself for you. And it even gives you the process that you need to do to get there. This at least gets your foot in the door on where you need to go. When I first started with crypto, and this is going to be the example I use today because this is where I'm at right now. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know really who to talk to. There wasn't really a community that you could talk to. You always have people trying to sell you Forex and all that other garbage. With AI, I was able to find communities that were legit, that were good. And that's what I got into, to the point where I have people around me that are actually doing what I want to do. They are where I want to be one day. You have that ability with AI. You can find these communities. Say you're doing real estate. If you want to be a carpenter, if you want to be a teacher in a different country, if you want to find a way to make money as a part-time gig because you work 2 full-time jobs, you have that ability now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick step-by-step, 3 steps that you have to do to find out what you need to do, how to do it, and what your first step is to get going. You ready? Step 1 is quite easy. Just tell AI that you want to make some money. What are some job options you can do? And you have to be specific when it comes to how you ask. You want to tell it your limitations. And when I say limitations, I mean maybe you don't have enough money. Maybe you're starting from scratch. Maybe you're in a country where internet isn't good. So obviously doing some kind of online streaming job would be a bad idea. Or if you're financially crunched, trying to buy $1 million house probably isn't going to be the best thing to start off with. So let it know what your limitations are and be detailed. AI is quite smart, but if you leave something out, it's going to assume the opposite. Step number 2, you're going to get a list from step 1 that's going to give you a bunch of job ideas you can do. Write down 5 or 10 of these and start researching the ones that are interesting to you. How do you get started? What do you need? Are there Reddit forums where you can talk to people about this? Is there some kind of like online course that you can join? Is there some program you can get involved in that will allow you to do these things? Don't try to do 100 things at once. 3 to 5 is ideally a good spot to go. Anything past that, you really are stretching yourself way too thin. And finally, step 3, just get started. You already know what you need to do. You know where to go. Start going for the first idea and just start doing it. Now, at the beginning of this, though, I talked about chaos versus order. All of that I just explained to you is the chaos. You're creating a lot of ideas, job opportunities, like things that you can do to actually make money. And you're going to do a lot of this at once. That's why I said 3 to 5 is a good number. You're going to do all this stuff and just kind of go and see what happens. This is where during the chaos, you are doing everything at once. In order, you're going to start removing things that don't work. So let's say hypothetically, you're doing e-coms, you're doing YouTube videos, you're doing ebook writing, you're doing copywriting, you're doing advert consulting. And then you realize you're really good at copywriting and doing adverts for other companies. This is when you drop the other 3. Get rid of e-coms, get rid of the YouTube ideas. Like put it aside, put it on the burner, and focus on those 2 that you actually enjoy and you're doing good at. And this is where the order starts. You're putting your full attention on this 1 or 2 things. I strongly suggest keeping it under 3. So sit down and try to think of some ideas what you can do. I mean, we've all had ideas. I go out with friends and I start shooting the shit with them. And we start making up these crazy like business ideas, these crazy entrepreneurial kind of things that we can do. But when you sit down, you go home and you're like, I'm going to do this. And then you realize, what do I do? This is how you do it. Create chaos by finding 3 to 5 of these things. Figure out how to do them using AI and start doing them. Once you find what works, break it down to 1 or 2 things and just focus on them. And there lies the secret to set you literally free. And this is how I can travel around Asia, not focus on having to find the next teaching job or worry about work permits through teaching jobs. I already have everything. My concern is where do I get a visa that allows nomads at this point. So hopefully it gives you a little heads up on how to take a bunch of crazy ideas you've had, figure out how to do them, start doing them, and then start narrowing them down to something that'll actually make you profitable and let you start doing what you want to do. Because we are coming into some crazy times. The next 5 to 7 years are not going to be what we expect, and we need to be ready for the unknown. So hopefully this helps you out. Leave some comments below on some of the ideas you've had, your craziest ideas. I am quite curious. My biggest, craziest idea is I wanted to open an international school in Vietnam. I know that's not crazy, but it's a thing that came to mind that I've tried to do in the last 7 years. And I went through the process, the governmental process, the partnership process, the money deposit process. And at the end of it all, it kind of flopped and I ended up opening a center. But it was definitely an idea that I didn't know what to do, and I had to dig through it until I found out. I'm not lucky like you guys that you had AI. If I had AI back then, I would have been able to get that done a lot faster. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching. I will see you again. There must have been Vietnamese here. Yeah. I'm always insulting. Yeah, you see here, just the bottom of it. The other one's down there. Money for the Buddha. Ants trying to get a little cheddar.